This is the Two Bald Guys Sports Podcast. Bald heads, bold takes. Now, here are your hosts, Adam and Tony.
Welcome back. I'm Adam.
I'm Tony.
We are Two Bald Guys Sports Podcast here, in the off season, but there's been lots going on. Quick, I know we talk football a lot, but quick little shout out to your Oklahoma Sooners winning the college baseball national championship. We just joked that it's about time an Oklahoma team besides your softball team won.
Yeah, softball's been so good over the last decade or so that I got so used to them winning, and then they haven't won the last couple of years, and my football team's not in there, and basketball team's not in there. Baseball was in there a couple of years ago, lost to Ole Miss, and then this year they barely made the tournament and then just went on an unprecedented run, down 8-2 to Georgia Tech in the regionals, and then they beat them, came back and then walked it off with them, beat them twice. Just an incredible run. I watched the whole game. It stayed up late for me, past 10:30. Definitely late, but I was going to stay up and watch that one because I don't get a lot of chances to watch the major programs. I know their gymnastics and stuff like you'd mentioned are good, but we don't really get that on TV a whole lot. So yes, congratulations to my Sooner baseball team to take the victory out of there. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
There you go. Good way to get the summer going. Going back to last week, we talked about Brendan Sorsby a lot with the gambling stuff and going to be the supplemental draft. Well, guess what? There's not going to be a supplemental draft. Apparently he was the only one in it, I think, or something like that, or was going to be the one. I bet more people would have tried to sneak in there if there was. But yeah, he will not be playing in the NFL this year. They decided that it wasn't worth it. Maybe they were looking at a little bit of like, you know what, we don't want the blowback from this gambling stuff to come on to us a little bit. So maybe if we get a year removed from it, he can do some, I don't know, lack of a better word, rehab with it. He'd be better off coming in after that. So any thoughts on that? Sorsby not going to play, what does he do? I'd say if I were him, I'd look, is the UFL a possibility? I know it's over for this year, but next summer he's got to play somewhere, do something, right?
Yeah, he can't just take the year off. I mean, I think you hit it a little bit when you said the NFL wants to maybe take a break, so they canceled the supplemental draft. Now, from what I read, apparently Sorsby's attorney says that goes against the NFL and their collective bargaining agreement. We'll see how that plays out by them canceling the supplemental draft. But you and I talked about it last show. The NFL needs to be careful, and not just the NFL, but the team that takes him needs to be careful. Don't throw him out there right away because there's obviously going to be any scrutiny. We mentioned that last episode about how they have to be careful how they play this. Well, I think they probably avoided some of that by canceling the supplemental draft. Let him sit this year out. He is eligible to be drafted in 2027. So he can come back, but you're right. He needs to play somewhere. So I think the NFL maybe did the right thing here, not only to protect themselves, but they didn't have to take a chance on any teams getting him and making bad decisions with him. And he only spent, and I didn't know this, like 30 or 35 days in a treatment program for his quote unquote gambling addiction. So maybe they need to see a little bit more out of him before they just go ahead and throw him in there. But according to his attorney, canceling the supplemental draft violates the agreement the CBA had with the NFL, but we'll see how it plays out. But I think that this is probably a safe move for the NFL, and it might be better off for him. But you're right, UFL's out there; he can get some reps in there. I mean, I don't know of any other leagues or anything like that, but he definitely needs to stick with training because he's not playing college or NFL for at least a year minimum.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if the UFL wouldn't take him. Like if he expressed interest, and I don't know, we don't know. There's been some people that have come out of the UFL and played in the NFL, but it doesn't seem like it's been that path that we talked about. Sometimes should it be more of a path to get to the NFL than it is? It really doesn't seem like it is. So I don't know if people look down on him for playing in there, but he's got to do something, right? I mean, he can't just sit because no NFL team's going to take. Well, I mean, I take that back. There's some NFL team that will take a flyer on him, but he's in a worse situation by not playing and taking a year off from a quarterback position where you kind of. I mean, any position you kind of need to be able to play, but this is one of them they really need. He really needs to stay in practice.
You got to get out there and take reps. And I've talked about this before. The UFL doesn't have a big name. Could this be a guy that they could bring in that people will watch the UFL? Can they get ratings off this guy? I mean, I don't know how much betting is available for the UFL. I haven't looked into it. But like the UFL needs a big name. We've always said this. People watch for the stars. I know he's not technically a star, but his name's out there. He was a good college quarterback, probably going to be a top quarterback pick. He could be the guy the UFL comes out and kind of builds their brand around a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's crazy to think they'll take a chance on a guy, that gambles a lot. But something else I read is the NFL apparently used to or still does have partnerships with some gambling affiliations. I don't know if it's MGM or Hard Rock or whoever it is, but apparently there was some sort of partnerships at one time with the NFL and these gambling associations. So it's just kind of ironic. But hey, maybe Brendan could be this guy that brings the UFL a little bit more recognition and people can get behind the UFL a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe it's crazy to think that, but yeah, he definitely needs to play somewhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here with that moving forward.
Right.
So it doesn't look like you said, it didn't look like. I mean, college, I can't imagine, Texas Tech being like, bring him back, and obviously the NFL now is a no-go. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him moving forward. But that's I haven't read the whole collective bargaining agreement for the NFL, so I don't know
you didn't go through that.
If the agent for the for Sorsby is right with that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if anything comes of that or what can go on with that. But anyways,
one more thing on that real quick is you mentioned if Texas Tech would take him back, which I agree with you. I don't think that's a thing. But apparently the Big 12, some attorneys have reached out from the Big 12 and told everybody that we are not playing Texas Tech. Our other teams are not playing Texas Tech, not in football. It specifically said all Red Raider programs. So they're not playing softball, baseball. They're not playing any of those programs. So for Texas Tech to bring him back and maybe with that threat out there on the line, that was earlier, obviously, before all this went down. But apparently that's what I read, that they were just not going to play Texas Tech in anything. So that's kind of wild. No, he's not going back to college.
That's a problem. That's a problem for Texas Tech. They can't afford, obviously, to lose all those games against just basically everybody. So, they're going to have to do something. Or not, they don't have to do anything. They just don't need to bring him back. Basically, that's where you're at. Don't bring him back. And I think the college career is definitely over for Sorsby. The blowback was too great for him on that. And Texas Tech can't do it, and nobody else is going to take a chance. I don't, even a lesser school, I just don't think you can afford to take that chance and do that. So yeah. It'll be interesting to see what goes on, and is it a thing with they can't cancel the thing, the supplemental draft? I don't know. So
yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. They're smarter than we are. I know that. So
yeah, they'll figure it out. It'll all get worked out.
Yeah. So, all right. The other, not the other, the big thing that's going on. In my world, I know, my world is Michigan's head coach. Basketball jumped to the NBA. A little shocker. Won the national championship. I swear he could have probably stayed there in Michigan forever and become one of the best coaches. So. And this isn't an NBA talk because we don't like the NBA. We don't talk about the NBA. We rather not. I don't care about the NBA. My son was watching the draft the other day, and he goes, "Who do you think drafts next?" And I was like, "I really don't care." And just being completely honest with that. So it's a gut punch to me. That part of it is I care a little bit about. But I guess the bigger thing is, and we do a pretty good job, we like finding things that are going on in the sporting world and tie it into football a little bit. It goes to, is it worth college coaches going to the pros? I mean, we've seen it happen. Obviously in the NBA it happens, but we talk football. We're a lot more familiar with the NFL with this. And it's been mostly not a good thing for college coaches to go to the NFL. I mean, there's
Correct.
some that have succeeded. We Jimmy Johnson succeeded with the Cowboys.
Yep.
Barry Switzer succeeded with the Cowboys. But did he really, or was that more of Jimmy Johnson starting the way and he just kind of took a hold of that team and just didn't screw it up, right?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a big Barry Switzer guy because he coached at Oklahoma and did a great job there, but he kind of just took over a Ferrari and just drove it to a Super Bowl.
Please don't mess this up is basically what that was.
Exactly.
Jim Harbaugh's had success. He's obviously in his second round, but he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl, was real close to winning a Super Bowl there. Tom Coughlin, was at Boston College. Probably people forget that he was a college coach at one time.
I did.
And he was very good with the Jacksonville Jaguars and then was, did a pretty good job with the Giants too. Won a Super Bowl or two there.
Beat Tom a couple times.
Yeah, but you look at that; those are some ones that have been really good, but then you also have some that haven't. Nick Saban,
right?
Not good. You maybe remember Steve Spurrier went to the Washington Redskins, not good. Lou Holtz went to the Jets, not good. Dennis Erickson went to the Cowboys.
Yep.
No,
Seattle.
He took over. He took the Hurricanes, and Seattle didn't work out. Yep. Bobby Petrino, that thing was a whole lot of mess.
Disaster.
Let's see who else was bad.
Then there's been a few that have just not only
more recently. Matt Rule did not do well with the Panthers. And to my surprise and glee, surprise is a joke. Urban Meyer failed miserably. Okay. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, didn't even make it through the first season with them.
Bill Callahan, but he was with the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was awful with the Raiders. He was with Nebraska for a while, but there's just some guys that are good college head coaches, and there's some guys that just need to stick to assistant coaching.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien was the other one too. He was really good with Penn State. Now he's back. I think he's with Boston College now. We'll see if he stays there. But he was not good with the Houston Texans and basically ruined that franchise for a while there. I don't know what he was thinking with some of the moves he made. But I guess the bigger picture is it smart for I understand wanting to go, but after it's not like it's a small sample size. It's a fairly big sample size, and for the most part, some of these really good college coaches have not done well in the NFL. I mean, if you really think about it, the best college coaches that you would say that went, and we can say what we want about Urban Meyer as person and all that stuff. He was a great college coach.
Yes, he was.
Steve Spurrier was a great college coach.
Yes, he was.
Not Urban Meyer. Nick Saban was a great college coach.
Yeah,
they did not succeed. The ones that have had the most success were good, but not great coaches in college. I mean, I know Jimmy Johnson was good at Miami, but it wasn't like he was just rolling with that team. Pete Carroll, he did do a good job with USC.
Pete Carroll's the one that sticks out in my mind the most.
Yeah, but probably. Tom Coughlin, you didn't even remember he was in college. I
totally forgot about that.
Is it worth going there? And they haven't had trouble getting back in the college game, but it kind of sets you back a little bit, and it's not where I think you would want to be. So, what are the thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think when I heard about Dusty May, is that his name?
Yep, Dusty May,
the coach for Michigan, and now he's with the Mavs or whatever. I think I thought of that. I saw that. I'm like, why would you leave a program where you just won a national title? And then I kind of took a step back and I was like, maybe his whole goal since he started coaching was to coach in the NBA. That might have been his whole goal. And I guess I can't speak for him, obviously, but he goes to Michigan. He turns that program around pretty darn quick, wins a national title, and he gets an opportunity to go coach in the NBA. And I guess he's going to take that opportunity because that was his goal from the beginning. That's the only thing I can think of because we've seen so many times, and we just listed a ton of really good college coaches who had success at the college level go to the NFL and not pan out at all. Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, those are two of the better coaches at both levels. That I can really think of are two. But there's a ton of guys we just mentioned that just cannot figure it out at the NFL level for whatever reason. I don't know what reason it is. It's a different game. You're working with a little bit more grown men versus teenagers coming out of high school, turning into grown men. So I don't know if that's a factor or the game itself, the way the game is played is a factor, but we just listed a ton of guys, quality coaches in college who tried to go to the NFL and really did not do a good job at all. And I can think of two guys that have had success at both levels. And I mean, we can mention Jimmy Johnson, I guess, in there as well. But it's Pete Carroll. I think Jim Harbaugh's obviously done a great job kind of wherever he went, Stanford, Michigan, the Niners. Now he's doing pretty good with the Chargers. But you're right. Like the idea of let's move and see what we can do. And then, okay, we're going to backtrack and go back to where we were. Maybe that's they know they have a fallback. Like Nick Saban kind of knew he was going to go back to college no matter what. But I don't know. I mean, unless your goal was to coach in the NFL or the NBA, I guess I have a little bit different mindset. Would I like to coach in the NFL? Okay, yes. But if I'm having success at the college level, if I'm doing well, I don't want to give that up. I don't want to give that up and start all over again. But maybe it's the challenge. I don't know. Some of those guys are competitive and they need the challenge. But I don't know. I think, like you said, if he'd have stayed at Michigan coaching that basketball team, I think they would have they'd have been good for several years.
Yeah, he had that thing rolling. He had the recruits coming in. There's not allegations. There's sore. It's still the Purdue fans and the Illinois fans that still say he tampered and things are going to come down. I don't think that's really going to happen. I mean, it's just weird that he left when he left. It kind of put him in a bind, but I mean, you're right. I mean, if that's some of those guys just are ultra competitive, they're just ultra competitive, and they're like, you know what, I need it to have this challenge. Yep. I need something to challenge me. Not that it wasn't challenging enough for them, I guess, but like,
right.
I don't know. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he left to do this, but. I don't know. I mean, like you said, in the college ranks, it's for the football ranks, it's a very, very small amount of people that have been very successful at both levels. Right. And I know we don't talk about the NBA, but it's even worse in the NBA. Like Rick Pitino tried it. John Beilein left, for the Michigan. He didn't even make it a full year. Billy Donovan was somewhat successful, but never as successful as he was in the college level. I mean, you're just not getting these guys that are successful. And I think it really does. I mean, you can say what you want, but it is a different type of athlete. Like it is adult. I mean, it's adults, well, for the most part, that are making a ton of money. And they don't really want to be told what to do, right. and or coached that way. It's a different set of coaching, and I think that matters. But we talked about it. The college sports is getting a little bit in the same way where with the NIL and the money and stuff like that. It's like free agency every year, but at the same time, in the pro sports, you don't have to recruit your players to stay every year. Right. And that's what you're doing in college right now. So maybe that is a big difference. And I know we don't, like I said, we've talked more about the NBA than we ever want to, but Cooper Flagg is with the Mavericks. So maybe that was another selling point. It's like, True. What, you can come coach one of the best young players out there.
Guy.
So they have a guy. So it's interesting. It sucks as a Michigan fan and me to be like you, when you lost, who was a coach at Oklahoma for the longest time.
Bob Stoops.
When you lost Bob Stoops, I don't think he left. He just retired, right?
He retired, yeah.
But still, it's a gut punch when a guy like that leaves, And I know May was only there for 2 years, but the things he did with the Michigan basketball program was a big deal. Right. So that's tough. So it's interesting. It's. I don't think going to the pros is always the best thing, but if that's your big goal, I guess that's your big goal.
Yeah, and I think I think we mentioned the competitiveness, and the challenge. But for me, if you took over a program like Michigan there was a challenge. It wasn't like he walked in there, he got handed this amazing team. He had to work for a solid, basically 2 years, and he put out a great product. But now he's bored with that already, and he's got to go to the NBA. And like you said, I cannot think of a college coach that has been real successful that has went to the NBA and been real successful. Let's think of our college coaches that have been successful. Mike Krzyzewski. Once he got to Duke and he had that role and he stayed there. You got Roy Williams at North Carolina and Kansas. He did great at both those schools. I mean, Dean Smith. I mean, you got a lot of great, you mentioned Pitino and stuff like that, but you got these great college coaches that stay at their programs when they're successful. And now all of a sudden people are jumping ship to go into the NBA. Now, Cooper Flag, like you said, might have a lot to do with it because these are grown men. Some of these guys you're not much older than, so we got LeBron James out there, almost our age. He's a little bit younger than us. He might be as old as some of these coaches. So I wouldn't want to coach a guy that's, 4 or 5 years younger than me.
I definitely wouldn't want to coach LeBron James. That's for sure. I mean, I know we have our thoughts on the GOAT conversation and all that stuff, but he seems like he's a pain in the butt to coach. Obviously a great talent, but a pain in the butt to coach. So,
and then that's the thing. He's so good. He can kind of run the show a little bit because they're not going to say, no, LeBron, go away. Like college, you can kind of tell guys, no, this is my show. I'm running it. But you get even a Jordan or a Kobe or LeBron, those, 3 of the best basketball players ever. They're kind of going to run that show around them a little bit. So it's a different game, but who knows? Maybe he'll be the one guy that's successful. I don't know. We'll see. But that seems money talks, I guess. Is he getting paid that much more? I haven't looked at the figures.
I haven't looked at the numbers on that either. So yeah, but either way, it sucks. It sucks.
It always sucks losing a coach.
It sucks as a Michigan fan to have something like that. When you all of a sudden you're like, yeah, we're doing great, and then that happens, and you're like, oh, okay. All right, cool.
Starting all over again.
Almost. Yeah, right, exactly. So, all right. The other thing going on here in the offseason, and I don't know, is the other football. The World Cup is going on. We've talked, at times about when they've done things, with the college or not the college, the World Baseball Classic for baseball, and if they would ever be able to do something like that for football,
right?
I guess, the question to you is, one, do you care about this World Cup? And two, do you think there's anything in the world that compares to the World Cup?
Whoa. The World Cup, I mean, I get it. It's more of a worldwide thing. Like you want your country, that's something that it's kind of like the Olympics. The countries are going against one another. And this is one of those sports where the United States doesn't typically, dominant. Our men's soccer team is a lot better than it's been in the past, and it's competitive now. And our women's team has been dominant for a while. But for soccer, it's like, I know people don't like the United States and other countries and stuff like that because we always have the best, basketball team, and our baseball team's pretty good, and football we have no competition there. But this is one of those sports where other teams can come in, and I think that we're hosting it here in the United States, some of the games. So it's fun, it's exciting. I got into it maybe 4 years ago, or maybe 8 years ago. I think maybe it was the last time I really kind of got into it. But it's fun, it's interesting. Could they pull something like this with American football off? I don't know. This World Cup runs into August. It's 2 months long. I didn't know.
It only runs into July. It only runs into July.
Like the end of July, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Jeez, this thing goes on forever. So they could maybe do something like that with football. But right now, I think the United States is so far ahead in I guess we'll call it American football that it probably wouldn't even be fair at this point. But soccer, it's not. I don't get into it. I mean, I know your son's into it and he plays and he's doing really good. So I think he's probably into it, which makes you now start probably getting into it a little bit. Am I right?
Oh yeah, I've gotten into it and it's fun. It's fun to watch the fans so I was watching and then I was watching earlier today. The Cubs were playing the first game of a doubleheader against the Mets, and it just was louder than normal. And I'm like, what is going on? This isn't like a baseball game. Well, turns out that the Norway fans were in center field, making a ton of.
They're watching, baseball.
Yeah, watching baseball, and it's fun. I don't know. I mean, I've been to one professional soccer game, and it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. They chant the whole game, and I mean, I guess if you don't like that, then it's not fun. But it was fun to watch. They get into it, and I think the national pride, and that's kind of the cool thing too, is the national pride that you see from some of these places. And they expanded the World Cup this year to 48 teams, so you get a bunch of teams that haven't been there in forever. And you got Croatia, Curaçao's in it. They're
Cape Verde. I've never heard of Cape Verde.
Cape Verde, the Congo.
They tied Spain or somebody.
Yeah, Congo's in there, and it's fun to watch that type of stuff, play out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine. I know the Super Bowl, we like to call, the World Championship, the World Series and all that stuff. But let's be honest, it's not the world going on in the baseball and all that stuff. And we're trying to make football, American football, more worldwide. But I just don't think you're going to get the same type of stuff for or the, I don't say the same stuff, but the following that you're going to get for the World Cup in other sports. Like, you're just not, like, it's just, it's huge. Like, and the other thing is, I don't know how these people must have been saving their money forever to get some of these tickets to this game, because these tickets rival the Super Bowl tickets, man.
Really?
They're ridiculous, So, yeah.
Those kids in those other countries, that's what they do. They grow up playing soccer. So that's the sport for them. Like, where we have kids growing up here going, I'm going to play football. So I'm going to eat food and I'm going to lift weights and I'm going to bulk up and get big to play football. Meanwhile, in the other countries, it's soccer. Like, they're outside, and soccer is a cheap sport to play. You literally can go in your backyard, put a couple of goals up made of nothing, and a ball that isn't very expensive, and you can play the game of soccer. Now, you can't really do that with a whole lot of other sports. I mean, basketball's up there, but you still got to have a big, a rim and net and all that stuff. But soccer, you can just throw a random ball down and go and kick it around. And these guys, so all their athletes are playing soccer. So if they were to try to get, a football team going, I'm not sure they would have a lot of athletes out there to choose from, because it's soccer and baseball are the two big sports. And I know basketball in Europe is pretty big as well. But as far as football goes, I'm just not sure other countries can't compete with the United States. But I don't know if they have the athletes to put out there for right now anyway. But I guess I'd be curious to see how that would play out, because right now the United States does not dominate soccer on the men's side. The women's team obviously has been really well, but on the men's side, United States is not the dominant program out there.
It is not.
We are better, quite there.
Yeah, we are better. We're making it out. We're winning our group now. But yeah, you're right. And let's be honest, like, as a kid, like, I mean, my youngest son isn't the most athletic. He doesn't like sports as much, but we still want him to get active. So what do? We had him go play soccer, because not that he was good, and not that it's easy to play. I'm not trying to say it's easy to play at all, but it's easy to go out and play the game. Like, to be good, it's a different story, but to go out and play it, because you're right. All you need is a ball. Like, some of these other sports, are a little bit more expensive, and you need a little bit more space to do it. I know you can play wiffle ball in your front yard, stuff like that, football, stuff like that, but soccer, you can pretty much play everywhere. Yeah. So,
everyone played soccer at some point, I feel like. Everyone. I played soccer until I was 8 or 9 or whatever. My daughter played soccer. Both my daughters played soccer at some point, and like, everybody goes out there and tries soccer, because you're right. It's one of those sports where, hey, go out there, run around, try to kick the ball. Like you said, to be good at the sport, totally different conversation. But just to go out and be on the field and participate, you can get out there and you don't get frustrated. Baseball and softball can be so frustrating if you're not very good, because you're going to strike out almost every time. That gets old, or the ball gets hit to you and you drop it. Like that's not fun. But at soccer, you can feel like you're participating and you're competing, even though you're really not contributing much as far as soccer stuff goes. But it feels like you can get out there and do it. So that's when you're younger. Obviously, as you get older, you start phasing out of that and you can't compete anymore because people are actually really good. But start out as soccer, and you have to be a good athlete to run around for 90 minutes.
But that's just funny, because they were interviewing somebody at the Norway or the Cubs Mets game that's from Norway, and they're like, "How do you like baseball?" They're like, "There's just a lot of downtime," and there is. Yes. Soccer. Now, there's not a lot of scoring. Well, I'm following the one game. Morocco and Haiti apparently have scored 4 goals in the first half, which is an explosion.
Soccer. Yeah.
So there's not a lot of goals scored, but they're always moving. Like, the ball is always moving. It's always in play. And I will tell you this: the one nice thing about soccer, now they're doing hydration breaks because it's in the middle of summer and halfway through the half. There are zero commercial breaks while the ball's in play or while time is running. Zero.
Yeah.
They've had like a little bit at the hydration break because it's like 3 minutes. And then you obviously have your halftime. There are zero. There's none. So like, you look at this now. I know there's end time at a soccer game, stoppage time because of injuries and
but that's minimal.
Minimal. Hey, listen, you could do this. It's 45 minutes. It's 90 minutes total. An hour and a half. Let's just say you give another half an hour for halftime and just various other things. 2 hours. That game is done. That game's going to be done in 2 hours. Yep. They don't have to worry about scheduling stuff for soccer here because the games are done. Like, that's the nice thing about it. And I know, like, when you watch football, you kind of like the game going longer, but at some point it gets way too long. The commercials get too long. There is some downtime. And that's the thing that some people talk about going to live games is you sit there and all of a sudden there's a commercial break and you're just staring at nothing.
Yeah.
So there's not really nothing going on in a soccer game.
Well, those Norway fans got to see at least some runs at their Cubs Mets game. Was it 10-3? Your Cubbies beat up on the Mets?
Yep, they got to see some runs. So
you want to talk about typically soccer and baseball have similar scoring final scores, 3-4 runs, 3-4 goals, whatever. But now Cubbies put up 10, like that's an exciting game. Yeah. Is there downtime with pitching changes and things like that? But yes, and I'm sure there was a few giving up 10 runs, but they got to see a lot of scoring going on. So it had to be a little bit of excitement, more than soccer is for sure. But you're right. Soccer is constantly moving. Everyone's constantly going. They're doing something other than the goalie. But it can get exciting when it comes down to those wide open breakaways. The goalie makes a great save. I mean, you've shown me videos of your son. He plays goalie. Like, penalty kicks are the most unfair thing in all of sports because the person is less than 10 feet away from you. You got to stop it. And your son he makes the right move. He's quick and he saves that ball. That's exciting because it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard. They need to move that back 3 or 4 more feet. Come on. I mean, it's ridiculously close. So that part gets exciting when they do penalty kicks and stuff like that. But it can be a little bit back and forth, not much going on. But then that builds the excitement for the end. And I'm not a huge soccer fan. I watched it when my daughter played and she got into watching the women's play and stuff like that. So I did watch it. But the game, like you said, they're going to play for 90 minutes and then whatever extra time, usually not much more than 5 minutes after that. And the game's over. And you know that, that's coming. With baseball. It's like, we got to get 27 outs regardless. Every team gets their outs. So yeah, I mean, the World Cup's fun and we'll watch it. And I mean, it's group play right now. I think we're starting to close that out. So I'll probably start paying a little bit more attention once some teams get eliminated. We start getting down to, maybe not the Final Four. Maybe I'll watch a little bit more than that, but, if the U.S. is still in it, I'll definitely pay attention. But I know guys. I know Messi. I know Ronaldo's in there. I know Mbappe's really good, and I can't think of think of the guy for the U.S. that's pretty good. But
Pulisic.
Yeah, there you go. So I know some guys. Come on, I know some guys. I know Messi scored a couple goals. Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about passion fans, though. Like, I mean, we talk about in America with football and stuff like that, college football, stuff like that. You get people tailgating and stuff like this, but you see some of these countries come across and you're like, dude, we got nothing on them. Like the Netherlands, they have a bus and they're just orange. I don't know why Netherlands is orange. We probably could look it up because their colors on their flag are red, white, and blue. But they come in and they're orange. And it's just amazing. In Norway, like, I don't know who didn't think to put Norway's games or have some games in Minnesota. Oh my God, I said Oda.
What? Like, were you Canadian all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know, because the Norway with the Vikings
and stuff,
the Scandinavians and stuff like that. Yep. Like they do a chant like they're rowing a boat, and it is amazing. Like if you would have put that in where the Vikings play with the skull chant, oh my gosh,
cool.
Like it would be so cool. Like those fans, like I love the passion of it. That's the thing, like America has a passion for the football, but this is on another level. And it's kind of cool because people come together and you got all these countries coming together, and this is how it really should be. A bunch of countries, obviously they want to beat each other. There's rivals and stuff like that, but they're coming together. They're playing a tournament. And for the most part, it's going extremely well and you don't have any problems.
Right. And I think the passion is, if you haven't watched a soccer game like that with that many people, it's constant. It doesn't stop. It's not like in the NFL when they make a big play and the fans go crazy, and then it kind of dies down for a minute. It is non-stop cheering and bells and whistling and like these chants, like you said, like it is non-stop. These people have more energy than the soccer players, for crying out loud. But you're right. That's the passion that you like to see at these games. And soccer's not in my top 5 favorite sports of all time, but the passion that those fans show is unmatched. Unmatched. It's not even, you don't even bring up anybody else, because those fans at soccer games cheer for 90 straight minutes and they don't take a break, and they're loud and they're all together and in on it. Absolutely best sports fans, most passionate sports fans are soccer fans. They might be a little crazy too once in a while.
They're a little crazy, and it is. And here's the thing too, and we talk about this. We love having football. Obviously, it's turned into Monday night, Thursday night, sometimes Friday night, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, with college football. And then when the action comes, it's all week. But this is 3 weeks of like 4 games at least a day of just all day long. They're spacing them out, so it's one at a time. Well, except for the end, the last games they pump it in there, games at the same time. But it's just like if you're a fan of this, can you imagine 3 straight weeks of football where there's basically a game on?
Oh my gosh,
all day,
that'd be awesome.
At 1 all day long, like awesome. Game. Tomorrow, guess what? Game.
Yeah.
Next day, game. It's that part of it is cool. Pretty cool, because there's going to be a game going on, and it's going to be on TV that you can watch because Fox has it. So
right.
Like I don't know how the NFL is trying desperately to put games on basically every day, but you can't to a point. So,
well, yeah, they would have to add 8 more teams, and now you get to the point where you're muddying down the talent level. It gets a little washed down the more teams you start adding in there. So could it be done every single day? Possibly, but I think we got to keep it kind of where it's at for the talent to be, as high level as possible. Because the more teams you have, the more the watered down the talent kind of gets out there. But yeah, I mean, I'll jump into the World Cup here in a little bit now that college baseball's over. There's really not a whole lot going on right now. There's no football. We got Major League Baseball. My Yankees are in first place, so I am following them. But, the World Cup, I might have to jump in on that a little bit. You kind of got me a little excited to watch some World Cup.
And like I said, the U.S. is moving on. They're winning the division. It looks like their next game, well, they play Turkey tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been fun to watch. It's been fun. And the stars have shown up. Like, that's the thing, too. It's always great. Like, when you have, like, when Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and just those quarterbacks are just boom, boom, boom. The receivers, Justin Jefferson, not T. Higgins, Jamar Chase and those receivers, when they're just having monster games on the same day.
It's fun.
And I don't know if the World Cup meant to do this, but they had Messi, and Mbappe and Holland is the guy from Norway, all playing in the exact same day. So what does Messi do? He goes out and scores 2 goals. What does Mbappe do after that? He scores 2 goals. What does Holland do? I can do that. I can do 2 goals. They did it twice. They've done it on 2 different days.
That's crazy.
And you're like, the stars are showing up.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, sometimes those stars are so much better. Messi is ridiculous. He's like 40 and he's still ridiculous. And Holland looks like he's Ivan Drago's son. You remember from Rocky? Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, go look up a picture of Holland and tell me he's not Ivan Drago's son. And that's cool, is when you want your stars to show up.
Yeah.
And it's really cool when it's almost like they're pushing each other, right? And we've seen this in the NFL, we've seen it in college football a little bit. A guy goes out and does something, it's like, oh, I got to do it, and they do it, and it's fun to see stars do that, and the fans are eating it up, and some bettors are too. Don't tell that to Brendan Sorsby.
Well, yeah, we don't want Brendan in on that, but you're right. These guys are pushing each other day in, day out to get better, and the competition is as high as it gets right here with the World Cup. And it's fun to watch professional athletes at their best, because like Messi's on a different level than other people. I mean, all those guys are outstanding athletes, but those few guys that you just mentioned, they're a little bit better. And if you watch them play, and I have watched Messi and Mbappe play, and you can tell there's something different about them. They play the game on that just a little bit higher edge, if you will. It's like watching Jordan or Kobe or whoever. They're just that much better for whatever reason, they have it figured out, and it is fun to watch that stuff. So now I'm kind of getting excited about the World Cup. I'm going to jump in there, see what games we got going on now. 'Cause there's not a whole lot on TV right now.
Yeah. So I told you, I got you.
All right. I'm into it now.
You know, I know we talked a little bit more soccer than we normally do, but it's more
football.
just, you know,
it's football.
It's football. Yeah, it's football.
It's
It's football. So just looking it up, we're coming at the end here a little bit, wrapping stuff up. But the Hall of Fame game is August 6th. I just looked it up. It's the Cardinals versus the Panthers, which, I mean,
about
it's football. It's August 6th. That is let's see, we are
6 weeks.
It is June 24th right now. There's 30 days in June. So 6 days, 37 days. We are 43 days away from an actual football game. Doesn't mean anything, but an actual football game. 43 days. We're under 50 days. Yes, 50
That's
days
nice.
until football. You'll tune in a little bit, and then we get going towards the end of the month when the real games show up. So we are coming down, about a month, Tony. You ready?
Yeah, I can't wait again. Like, it's always a fresh start. My Raiders get a fresh start. My Sooners get a fresh, the teams get fresh starts. Your hopes are high. Nebraska fan thinks the Huskers are going to win it every single year, and they'll probably think they're going to win it this year because they got some quarterback that they think's great again. I don't know. But football, our teams are all 0-0, ready to make the playoffs. And then after a couple weeks, my Raiders are out of it. So hopefully my Sooners are still in it, though.
Yeah, hopefully they are. So, yeah, we're getting close. We got more stuff to talk about, but we're coming in the second half of the summer. Well, at least for kids that are out of school, and me because I'm a teacher.
That's right.
But we'll come back next week. We'll talk about stuff. I'm sure stuff will pop up. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of world football again, but we'll get into it. Any other moves that happen and stuff like that. But until next time, I am Adam.
I'm Tony. Thanks for listening.
You have been listening to the Two Bald Guys Sports Podcast with Adam and Tony. Don't forget to check out our partnership with Happy Nuts.